In November of 2009, so right about here, the company came before the expert panel with a new technology that it hopes will address the barn odor issue. And it is the scraper digester. How many are employees of Premium Standard Farm? I assume that many of you, if not all of you, have been out to Crystal Peak. And it is, of course, the scraper digester system that exists out at Crystal Peak. There is now a second, that was in 2009 that was brought forward before the expert panel. So let me kind of wrap this portion up by saying this. I don't believe that I have to some degree, balance the property rights issues on the one side and the economic issues on the other. I don't think that I'm in the position of a judge where I have to at least seriously consider both sides of this equation. I have to consider the fact that all of your jobs are tied to these decisions. I also have to consider the fact that the state of Missouri has a contract with Premium Standard Farms that is extended for 11 years, that there has been one extension on, and that the request for a second extension has now come in, and the opportunity for a solution to this problem first arose 96% of the way through this 11-year time period. The state of Missouri has absolutely no desire for Premium Standard to leave this state or to do anything that is going to hinder the economic underpinnings of this community. The state of Missouri also has some obligation to recognize this contract. I am not in a position where as one person who works for you and who works in the government, I'm not in a position where I can just take this contract and rip it up and throw it in the trash can and say that I, Chris Koster, speak on behalf of the state of Missouri, and I, Chris Koster, am going to rip this contract up. I don't believe that I can do that. I don't think that when I got elected, that I was given the right to do that. There has to be a balancing of the interests. I believe that is achievable. I believe that the scraper digester system, that there is time for the scraper digester system to work its way in relatively short order through the expert panel. But I'm going to say something that I assume that 95% of the people in this room are going to disagree with. I am concerned, as the person who is charged with enforcing this contract, I am concerned that nothing was done during the first 5-year period on the odor issue, that there was an extension granted, and that we waited all the way here before we saw any progress. And there is at least a part of me who thinks that the pressure that is being brought to bear by the conclusion of this lawsuit, or by the conclusion of this consent decree, is stoking the urgency with which the corporation has come forward with a solution at this stage in the junction, in the stage of the debate. The issue ultimately that I will have to decide, that we at the Attorney General's office together will have to decide, is how much pressure is brought to bear to make sure that this is successful. That the scraper digester system before the expert panel is a successful enterprise, that if this is what Premium Standard believes in, if this is the solution that is going to bring an end to this 11-year process, that it is diligently brought before the expert panel, that the expert panel has a chance to review the data, pass its blessing over it, and that a meaningful and quick resolution to this can be brought to bear so that both sides of this equation have a chance to leave the field with their head held up. If that is attainable, that is what I want. For everyone in here to be protected and for the property rights that have been at issue for the last 11 years to be respected. Again, I swear I begin every day with a prayer that I don't screw up the day. And I do not have all the answers in a very complicated job that I appreciate the opportunity that you've given me to serve in. With that, I will begin to answer any questions or concerns or accusations or corrections that anyone in the audience has this evening. Also, as was mentioned earlier, Senator Brad Walker, who is a passionate defender of the people of this area of the state, Representative Bernsey, who is an equally passionate defender of you, very successful new member of the legislature, are both here with us tonight, and I would encourage you to ask them questions as well if you would like to move in that direction.